once you have all of your 3 elevations created, you will now begin to place in the titles of each drawing with the symbol, and then also your dimensioning as well. Now your dimensions are going to vary because you may want to dimension and put notes for any type of backsplash or cabinet fronts that may have mirrors, or whatever it is under the sun that you as a designer have created on your drawings. But before we talk about those dimensionings, let's talk about labeling and titling each drawing. Every elevation should have its own title. And then also you want to be placing the scale underneath your drawings as well. So what I have is my south kitchen wall and my east kitchen wall. And I'm simply going to, again, take my parallel bar, leaving myself room. I'm going to draw in first a guideline, just straight across. Again, I always like using a light line for my guidelines. Now the title of each of these drawings, the lettering for that is a 1/4 inch. So I just have my Ames lettering guide set to the number for a 1/4 inch. And then I'm placing my lettering guide down. And I am going to draw in my guideline straight across. Because again, I want everything to be nice and neat and lined up. So why not have everything at the same height? And then underneath this guideline that I created, I'm going to drop down again and I'm going to draw in guidelines so that I can write in the scale of the drawing as well. And for the first, I'm going to go ahead and write in what this elevation view is. I'm going to write south wall kitchen view, or south kitchen view is probably best. It doesn't take as much space. So you can say south wall kitchen or kitchen south wall. Whatever your wording is going to be, it needs to be consistent for each drawing. Notice that I have my drawing name written as South Kitchen Wall. So that means when I go and write the east side, I would say East Kitchen Wall. And then I would say West Bathroom Wall. So I want my drawing titles to be consistent as far as the naming. I put the direction and then the actual name of the drawing. So I'm going to go back up to my guideline, and I just kind of want to darken in this guideline a little bit that I drew to underline my actual drawing name. You're going to simply take a circle on one of your drawing templates and go ahead and draw in the graphic symbol for your drawing. Remember, it's just a circle, and then you're going to refer back to the numbering that you had on your floor plan. So if your south wall view of your elevation symbol from your floor plan was drawing number 1, you're going to write in 1. Because we're saying that this is drawing 1, and it is found on the page that we have for this document, and we're going to write in the number 3. And you're going to do that for each drawing. So if this is elevation number 2, you're going to write 2 for the drawing number 3. Oh, I do apologize. It's not going to be page 3 because our floor plans are on page number 2. So that is a mistake on my behalf. Remember, the drawing number is here, and what page number to find this drawing on is going to be on page 2. Or was that page 1? Our floor plans are page number 1. Oh, I'm all over the place here. So that is the first document sheet in our construction set that we're creating for this class. No one's perfect. As you can see, I make mistakes as well. So this is drawing number 1, found on page 1. And then for your east elevation, again, I'm taking my circle and I would draw it right in. I like for things to kind of be lined up. So I'm kind of making sure that I'm underneath the drawing. And if on your floor plan you label this as number 2, it's going to be the number 2 found on page, again, 1, because your floor plan is sheet 1. Just going to darken that line across. Okay, and then you will write in east kitchen wall, or whatever your title is going to be. Again, consistency all the way across. So remember, the top number is saying what this drawing is and what page you're going to refer back to when you want to see that elevation symbol. So it should be 1. And then on your floor plans, you will see that it was drawing number 1 found on page 3, because this is page 3. I also want to pull to your attention here that when you are putting in your kitchen components and your cabinetries, don't forget you do want to draw in your directional symbols of that dash line on which way your cabinet doors open and close. So if you notice down at the bottom in this bathroom elevation that I had begun, I went ahead and drew in any of my little details. Your restroom vanity can be a full vanity such as this. Maybe it's a vanity with legs on it. Maybe it has drawers. However you want to lay out your cabinet fronts is completely up to you for your kitchens as well as your bathroom. For me, I chose to kind of set mine up this way. But I also did not leave out my direction in which my cabinet doors open. Remember that the point of your triangle is found along the side where the hinges will be. So what this is telling me is that my door opens out and to the right. And then for the opposite side, it opens out and to the left, because my hinges are on the side where the point is. So that means my mechanism to make this door work is found along my right-hand side. And then for this one, it is found along my left-hand side. When you are ready to begin to place your dimensions, remember it is the same way that you dimension your floor plans. So you're going to pull out some dimension strings. And you want to show and showcase all of those dimensions vertically, and then also any special notes. So I have already begun to pull my dimension strings out for my kitchen at the top and bottom. So that overall is going to be written in here. And remember, we're going to go ahead and draw in our tick marks. Remember, your tick marks flow in the same direction as each other. And also remember that there is a spacing in between your wall and when your dimension string starts. From there, you're going to write in your dimensions, and you're going to be using, again, that 1/8 of an inch lettering for your dimensions. Another dimension that you will just kind of pull off is your counter height. So we want to give that a dimension. Then from here, the next dimension we kind of want to give that overall is where our upper cabinets start. So I'm just pulling a string out there. And then you will want your builder, designer, to know also the size of your upper cabinets. So again, I'm just pulling out a few lines so I can begin to put in some measurements. So we definitely need to know the height or how tall our upper cabinets are, because they do range in different sizes. So we want to have that dimension. We want to know the spacing from the countertop in case, what if it's not 18 inches? And we just want to also reiterate what that base cabinet height is. So these are a few dimensions that you will pull off. And then you also may want to do the same on the opposite side when you're working on the east side of your kitchen. Another dimension that we may want to just not forget to include is our, our refrigerator height, because again, our refrigerators have multiple heights. So we kind of want to make sure we include that. Another dimension also is this soffit area. So we don't want to leave that out. And that is a really small spot. So remember, you may have to have a leader line with an arrow that kind of points in, tells me what that measurement is. And let's give this refrigerator a dimension string. And then also the cabinetry above the refrigerator. We would need to know how tall that is if you choose to have that there. Again, creating those tick marks in the same direction. We want to be consistent. So we have some dimension strings going. And notice that I didn't need to pull my strings out very far. I have plenty of room to put both drawings on my sheet. And your dimensions should be written at, again, 1/8 of an inch. So you would dimension your south wall. If anything changes on your east wall, you would draw dimension strings on this side as well. I want to bring your attention down to the bathroom. And notice how I went ahead and lined my bathroom exterior wall up with my south kitchen wall drawing above, because I know that they both are exterior walls and I want my drawings and documents to be very neat. So everything lines up neatly. So I went ahead, drew that line right up under, and it's the same thickness as my 7 inches for an exterior wall. Now, of course, it wouldn't line up to the same as my kitchen as far as the length of it. However, again, it's still nice and neat and it reads very consistent throughout this document sheet. When you get in your bathroom, even though we have an overall height for our kitchen at 8 feet, and it would be the same on that side, so I may not need to draw overall height on both sides of my kitchen, your bathroom is still in a different area. And sometimes our ceiling heights do change in our bathrooms. So you still need to give an overall height for your bathroom as well. So we definitely know that that is a dimension that we're going to include. So again, I'm just drawing that string in. And when I'm ready and I have that measurement, we know it's still 8 feet. So we're going to write in 8 feet using our 1/8 of an inch lettering. Slide this over so you can see that drawn in there here. Other dimensions, again, we kind of want to make sure we give that height of our vanity. Maybe your vanity is not a cabinet vanity. Maybe this sink area is 2 freestanding pedestal sinks. Again, you're the designer. You're going to lay this bathroom out in the way in which you would like it to be laid out. But again, we still have to make sure we're filling and fitting in these measurements. Maybe you also want to say how high this mirror hangs from the top of your countertop. So I'm just going to, again, draw in a dimension string line and pull it out. And then how tall are your mirrors? And then also, what is that measurement of your mirrors from the top of your mirrors to the ceiling? Information that is needed in order to hang these mirrors properly and place them in the space. So we have a couple things that we want to make sure is accounted for in our vertical dimensions. Again, all of my tick marks are in the exact same direction. Wants to be a little stubborn there on my parallel bar. And your tick marks are definitely going to be shorter than mine here. You're going to leave your spacing so that you can write in your dimensions. Anywhere where your dimensions do not fit, you will just draw an arrow to provide that information. Now, again, remember on these elevations and also on your floor plans, this is the opportunity to add any of your special notes. So I went ahead and drew in this little design for how I want the cabinet doors to look. But this here is a piece of glass. Just like in my mirrors, I can draw in little lines, kind of doing just a little bit of rendering. And you can render, if you like, in black and white to show different details. But this is a little small space, so I want to go ahead and just draw me out a line off to the side. And then I'm going to write in that this is a glass mirror. Or not a glass mirror, but just a glass door front. Remember, your notes are written in the same height as your dimensions, which is 1/8 of an inch. So you will put your Ames lettering guide on the number 4 and draw you in some guidelines so that you can write whatever it is you need to write. So I have a little area set up for me to begin writing what I want to say. And remember that any notes are written in a paragraph format, so they're lined up really nice and neat, and you read it from left to right. So I'm just going to write in the word glass. And I'm going to call it an insert. Again, using my architectural lettering. Oh, and we need to, very important, to always look back at your lettering in case you spelled anything incorrectly. Because when we're writing in capital letters, it is very easy to overlook letters because everything kind of begins to look the same and you can do a lot of misspelling. So as designers, when you are creating these construction documents, you must always go back and kind of proofread anything that you wrote. Even if I wanted to call out what type of cabinets these were, again, I'm just going to put a dot here. And I made the line, if you notice, a little bit heavier so that it goes over to what that is. It kind of pulls it out away from the drawing and you can see, oh, there's a little note. If I wanted to do the same for my cabinetry, again, I would just kind of make a mark, pull that line over, line it up where I can. Make sure my lettering guide is on the number 4. Draw me in some guidelines, kind of lightly, and begin to write what I want it to be. So I wanted to say that these are not just wood cabinets, they are painted You can call out the color if you want. Or for now, I'm just going to leave it as painted oak. Now, normally when you say that it's something painted, you will go ahead and put what the paint color is on there. If you do not have another document that we're not going to be creating, it's a legend that gives you the paint colors or the flooring and things of that nature. But for now, I'm just going to call this out as painted oak. And then don't forget, this is not a finished drawing, so you still would need to put in your toilet that is found. You will put in the rest of your cabinet door fronts. You will put in the details for what does your stove look like? What does your refrigerator look like? Is there another cabinet that sits above your stove that is usually the same height as your refrigerator? And then inside of there, maybe this now is a microwave of some sort. So you're going to go through and draw in any other fine details. You're going to draw in any type of backsplash. Maybe these aren't cabinets, as I mentioned before. Maybe they're shelving. You're going to lay this out to what it needs to be. Then you're also going to make sure you're having all of your dimensions, any special notes that are needed. You're going to label each drawing 1, 2, and 3 with the scale at 1/2 inch written under the bottom of them. Once you have all of those items completed, you now have your finished elevation drawings. Remember, do not forget to draw in your side profiles of your cabinetry for each portions of your kitchen. When you are done with that, you're going to go back to your drawing and begin to post-shade or shade in both your interior and your exterior walls where they are found.